Head up or head down? What do you reckon? Let's get this party started. Hello, this is Sophie Dawson from sophiedawson.com, and this is episode 143 of the Sophie Art Podcast, which is a little podcast that I do about the art and things. And this one is about the things, because today we're going to be talking, well, it's just a little fun one really. It's just Christmas. We're going to have a little bit of fun for Christmas. And we've got a special co-host for this one as well. For this one, lilDENNiS is in his house with Kitty, but the co-host for today is little Rodney the Reindeer. So this is all going to be Christmassy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some of my favourite Christmas films, favourite video games to do with Christmas memories, and then we'll have a little sing-song at the end, like we did last year, because I thought that was quite fun. So I hope you enjoy this one. And well, I have actually also got back into my drawing, which is cool. So I've done a little drawing for my niece for Christmas, which is cool. So it was really nice actually. Last week's episode, talking about not drawing enough, it really did make me think that all I've got to do is start drawing. Yeah, because I thought to myself, you could spend hours talking about not drawing, or you could spend that time actually drawing. It was quite simple when I thought about it. Let's put little Rodney down so you can watch a video of this at youtube.com/SophieLawson. And I am actually wearing a little Santa outfit. I got my wig on as well. I don't normally put this on much really, but I thought it'd be quite cool, a little bit Christmassy little thing. So Christmas films. Let's get into this one. So I got what have I got here? I got four little films really. The first one is the Snowman, which is a little animation. I think it came out in the 80s, I want to say. Yeah, I can still remember exactly where I was when we watched that. I was in my little house as a child, mum and dad. I remember one Christmas it was on Channel 4. It just came out, and what it is it's a little animation, 20 to 30 minutes long, and it's all about this little boy who wakes up on Christmas, I think it's Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, and it's been snowing, so he makes a snowman, and then what happens is on Christmas Eve he goes to sleep, and when he wakes up in the middle of the night, and the snowman's come to life, and him and the snowman go off on a little adventure. It's brilliant, and it's got that song, "We're walking in the air." I love that one. It's very sad though, very sad. I'd only watched that once when it first came out. I remember me and my mum, we were crying, and then, well, I think it was about 2 years ago. It was either last Christmas or the year before. I saw it in a second-hand shop. I thought, I'm going to get that. It was Christmas, and I watched it at Christmas. It's still really good. It's really good. And the thing is, I don't think there was any talking. The whole film, there was no talking, because it actually is a storybook. It's a children's book, just pictures. There's no writing in the book, so I like that. The next one is the Muppets Christmas Carol. Oh, I love this. For me, this is the funniest thing ever. Well, one of the funniest. I think it's one of those films you could watch again and again, and it's still funny. I like stuff like that, but it's brilliant. It's the Christmas Carol, so it's all to do with Scrooge and stuff like that. But what's funny is it's the characters, the little Muppets. Yeah, that was actually the first Muppet film I ever watched, and I watched it last year because somebody said to me, "Have you ever seen the Muppets Christmas Carol?" I said I hadn't seen that. So what happened then was I watched it and I fell in love with the Muppets. And then another one here is the Wizard of Oz, the Muppets Wizard of Oz. That is brilliant. The main memory I've got of that is there's this little Muppet called Pepe the Prawn. Is it the prawn? Yeah, Pepe the Prawn. He's brilliant. He was fantastic. But what I loved about that one was, again, the Muppets, they made that. It's brilliant. So those three films are probably my favourite Christmas films. And then I've also put The Office with Ricky Gervais. Well, The Office is also something I could watch again and again, and it's always funny. But they actually did a Christmas special, which I thought that was really fun as well. Yeah, so those are my favourite things of Christmas. If I ask, what I like to do is every Christmas make sure I watch one of those sort of things. So this year I'm going to be watching The Office Christmas special, and I'm going to watch The Muppets Wizard of Oz with my mum. I'm going to watch that. And then what I've also done is I've thought about the things I've been watching at the minute. I've actually got into Star Trek Discovery. That's brilliant. Again, someone at work said about it, and I've not actually seen Star Trek before. The only Star Trek I've seen is the one with J.J. Abrams, because I loved the TV show Lost. It was my all-time favourite thing, that was. Yeah, I loved that. I got addicted to that show, Lost. And then the bloke who made it, J.J. Abrams, he actually made a Star Trek film. So what I did was I watched the Star Trek film. I thought that was brilliant, but I hadn't actually watched any of the Star Trek series. And then somebody at work said, "Oh, you might like that." This was a few weeks ago, and I've watched 3 episodes so far, and that's on Netflix. It's brilliant. What I love about that is the special effects, and it's the story. It's only 3 episodes in. There's 3 seasons. The story is all to do with quantum. So what happens is they're on a spaceship, and they discover, they're dealing with these quantum things, which allow them to basically instantly teleport around the universe. It's brilliant. And I've also put the IT crowd, because that's another thing like The Office. It's one of these things that is funny, and it's always funny. It's about these 3 people, 2 blokes and a girl, who work in the IT of a big office block. It's just really funny. It's just absolutely funny. So I feel like Christmas, I think Christmas it's nice to watch funny things. So I feel like this Christmas I'll be watching the IT crowd, The Office Christmas special, and The Wizard of Oz. We've also got Christmas video games. So, when I think of Christmas, strangely, the game that springs to mind is actually Gran Turismo, which is a racing game. So this is weird, because you wouldn't really associate a racing game with Christmas. But the reason is, this is what I love about Gran Turismo. With Gran Turismo, the attention to detail that they put into everything. What happens is, at Christmas, the game knows, because the game looks at your clock. It looks at the date on your system, and what it does is it starts playing Christmas music in the menus. It's brilliant. So it's playing like Christmas tunes, jazz music in the menus. So it just feels like Christmassy. It's amazing when you turn it on and it's going do 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 do. It's brilliant. So I always like to play that at Christmas. Another one. What's the other one here? Great Bit playing jazz. What's that? Oh yeah. Oh, this is another game. The games I've been playing at the minute. I've been playing Beyond Good and Evil. I'm right near the end of that. Because what I do is every Saturday I play video games. So I've been working through that over the course of about 2 months. And I'm right near the end now. That game is amazing. It's got these fantastic characters. You've got this really nice little girl. You've got a pig. And then you've got a bunch of other characters who are... Basically, what it is you've got a little village, a planet in the universe is being attacked, but it's basically all to do with conspiracies. But what it feels like is that game feels like a mirror image of what's going on at the minute, with all this stuff like conspiracies and trying to find the truth. Basically, that game's brilliant. For me, that game is all about the story and the characters. Mainly the characters, I think. And then another one I've been playing is Dirt 3, which is another racing game. I really like the handling on that one. Yeah, the handling of the cars is brilliant. The sense of speed as well. It's fantastic, that game. So Dirt Rally it's a rally racing game. But the thing I love about that, this little thing, it's always the little things I love. what happens is when you start that game, you put your name in. So I put the name Sophie. Every so often throughout the game, and they sprinkled it in just enough. It's like happens maybe once every 2 hours. They'll actually say your name. So what happens is you'll win a race, and at the end you've got these people talking to you like your crew. And what happens is this lady will come on and say, "Oh, fantastic race, Sophie," and it makes you feel special. Yeah, I like that. So and then another game I've been playing is Beat Hazard, which is this little spaceship. It's a twin-stick shooter, so you've got one screen with a spaceship, and all you do is you're just shooting stuff. But what's so good about this one is it uses your own music, so you could actually put Christmas tunes in there, and you're playing a shooting game, little spaceship. You're playing this game it's bringing in enemies and stuff based off of your music. So you could be playing, say, Jingle Bells, and it's all going in time with the music. It's fun, that is. But the main thing about video games at Christmas is there's this YouTube channel called PlayStation Access, which I believe they are official. I think they're the official PlayStation channel. And what they do is each year, a bunch of them, for 12 days, so it's the 12 days of Christmas basically. What they do is, for the 12 days of Christmas, they do these little challenges. Fantastic. So what I would say is, I'll put links and everything in the show notes at sophielawson.com. But even if you're not into, even if you're not into video games, you might actually enjoy that. But even if you only watch one little video game thing a year, because what I do is I only really watch them at Christmas. So one year they did the Christmas Elf, which was one of them went into the game Skyrim. It's all based around Skyrim. One year it was based around, what's that game called? Is it Red Dead Redemption? And then last year it was based around the game show Crystal Maze. So what they do is, they're basically, the best one for me was the Skyrim one. So what happened was, one of them took over the character, and he was called Nathan the Christmas Elf. So what he did was he went into the game, and he wasn't very good at the game. So that was part of it. It was fun. And what happened was, you got this other guy who's alongside him, helping him play the game. But there's this other bloke who was giving him challenges. So one of them was like, he said, an example would be, in that game, Skyrim, you've got this big, massive open world. You can do anything. And you're like it's like a fantasy world. So one of the challenges was like, he says, what you got to do is you got to sneak into this lady's house while she's asleep and go through her drawers or something. It's little things like that. So what you had to do was you had to creep into her house while she's asleep. And it was just little crazy adventures like that. It was just so much fun. They're really funny. Last year's was really good as well. They based it off the Crystal Maze. They called it the Christmas Maze. Yeah, and the Crystal Maze is like a game show that's on TV. I don't know if it's still on anymore. What they do is they have to go into these rooms and do a challenge, and if they complete the challenge, they get a crystal. So what they did was each challenge was a video game. So like one of them, what was it? Oh, that was good. Yeah, one of them, there was two of them. What they did was they had to tie their hands together and play a video game with their hands tied together, stuff like that. It's so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to it this year as well. I don't know if they're going to do one this year because of all the stuff going on with the social distancing and stuff. Hopefully they do, but even if they don't, I feel like you could re-watch previous year's ones. They're fantastic, they are. The next little thing is Christmas memories. So I can talk about some of my memories for Christmas. What have we got here? We've got PS1, Little Robins, FIFA and Virtual Racing, Dads Jam Tarts. I'm going to start with that one. So one of my favourite memories of Christmas, sadly, I may never get this again, is my dad. He used to make jam tarts at Christmas. But what he did was perfection. These jam tarts, he had a way of sort of doing the pastry, so it was as close as possible to being burnt, I suppose, but it never got burnt. But it was just at that point and also the jam. The jam went strange, but these jam tarts were like the best jam tarts ever. And the thing is, because I don't speak to my dad anymore at the minute, well, I may never be able to get these jam tarts again. That's a shame, that. But nobody makes jam tarts like my dad. I feel like that's the thing there. Another thing here is the PS1. What was it? I think it was 1995. 1995, at Christmas. At the time, I'd only been playing the Mega Drive, the Sega Mega Drive, and the PS1 had just come out that year. What happened was I got a Christmas present. I opened it up. It was a PS1, and I didn't even know I was going to get that. I'd never even imagined I could possibly get that. I started crying. I've never had that before. That was one of the most amazing presents I've ever got, because I didn't expect it. Because normally when you get a present like that, you've been asking for it, or I wasn't even asking for it. That's the thing. I was buying all these video game magazines. They were talking about PS1 and stuff, and I was thinking, oh, that'd be amazing. But I never said I wanted one or something. So that was like that was beautiful. That was. I wish they'd filmed that moment. Another one, FIFA and virtual racing. So one of the things for Christmas is, a lot of my Christmas memories are based around video games. Because for me, Christmas is a time to play video games, because I love playing video games. So this FIFA and virtual racing, well, I remember those two games specifically. Because what happened was, this is quite funny, in the morning I got my Christmas presents, and I just spent the rest of the day playing FIFA and virtual racing. So everyone else was upstairs, like doing whatever, and I was in my room playing these video games. That was the best time ever, that was. Another little memory is playing with my sister at the top of the stairs. So this was back in like the 80s. I feel like we used to get loads of presents. I feel like we used to get tons and tons of toys. I don't know if we did, or whether it was just because I was so small it felt like that, but one of my main memories is, because what happened was, my mum didn't like us making a mess in the front room. So what we had to do was, we'd go upstairs, we had to play with our toys upstairs. So what we did was, we always used to play at the top of the stairs, on like the landing, because then we had quite a lot of room. So I just remember us playing these keyboards. We had both got these keyboards for Christmas. We must have really annoyed Mum and Dad. But, well, for that whole day, both of us were just playing with these keyboards. I reckon they must have got in the right mood with that. But we was having so much fun up there. It's brilliant. Also, colouring. I seem to remember getting lots of colouring stuff for Christmas. We used to get these weird things. They were like these tubes. With... You'd pull it out and it had loads of like big sheets of colouring paper things, like little drawings. Like you'd get like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones and stuff, and you'd get a little packet of crayons. I used to love those. Also, those little things you used to get. It's like a pair of binoculars with a little thing at the side. You click it, and you would see like little things, each time you clicked it, you'd see like a little cartoon or something. And it would go through like a story or something. There was this other thing I had as well, which was amazing. What it was it was like a projector. Yeah, it was like a little, I don't know what it was, a projector with like little slides. You'd put these little slides in of cartoons, and it would project it onto the wall. Massive. I used to love that as well. And the other thing I got, what's the other thing? Thundercats. Yeah. I remember playing, this was a weird memory. This is a little bit sad, this one. I loved Thundercats as a child, and one of the things I've been wanting for ages was Panther's. He had basically one of the Thundercats is called Panthero. Yeah, Panthero, and he had this. He had like a tank, so he had this massive tank, and you could put all the little characters into it. You could put like Lionel and all the Thundercats into it. Christmas Day comes, and I've got this thing. I was so excited. I put it all together. On that first day, I broke it. I was very rough with my toys back then. I used to also smash all my cars up. Yeah, I'd always have these little cars, and I would just basically what I'd do is I'd I'd drive these cars into each other, smash them up, pull the doors off, smash the windows. It was weird. I used to just love destroying stuff as a child. Another thing I used to do was, especially with my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I used to throw them out the window, because I lived upstairs. I'd throw them out the window. I had a crabbing line to go crabbing. I had basically like a fishing rod really, but like a little crabbing thing with a hook on the end. What I'd do is I'd throw my Thundercats out the window, my turtles, and I'd have to try and, what I'd then do is I'd hang out the window, I'd throw my little crabbing line down, I'd have to try and hook onto the Thundercats and pull them back up. That was brilliant. It's a bit dangerous though, thinking about it now, because I was hanging out the window. But imagine if my mum or something was downstairs and they were looking out the window, they might have seen like a Thundercat going up through the sky. That's quite cool, that. What else have we got here? Oh, the Commodore 64. Yeah. So me and my sister got a Commodore 64 for Christmas, which is a little video game thing. That was amazing as well. But the main memory I got with that is getting the game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is another little sort of disappointing memory as well. So basically, back in the 80s and 90s, it always used to be about the arcades. You'd go into these arcades and play video games. And they were always much better than what you had at home. That was one of the things. That's what killed the arcades, was the video games at home got better than in the arcade. So there was no point to go to the arcades, which is a shame because the arcades were special. I really do miss those actually. But what happened was there's this game in the arcades, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What it was a little side-scrolling beat 'em up. You could have 4 players, and all you did was you went from the left to the right, fighting all the bad guys like Shredder and stuff. So I really wanted that game for the Commodore, and then Christmas comes around. I got the game for Commodore 64. I loaded it up, so excited. I started playing it. It was a completely different game. It wasn't the game in the arcades. It was this weird sort of side-scrolling game where you walked around and you went into sewers. It was more like a slow-paced puzzle. It was like a slow-paced adventure side-scrolling thing. I remember it being a little bit hard as well, whereas the game in the arcades was just button mashing fun. Yeah, it was like there was no skill involved really with the arcade one, and I wanted that, so I was a bit disappointed with that. The good thing, the memory I got of that though, is it came in a really nice box, because Commodore 64 games, they were on little cassettes. They used to come in these plastic like cassette tape boxes. Every so often you'd get a special one which had like a cardboard box, so it felt a lot more special. I remember RoboCop had a box like that, but this Turtles had a really nice box as well. Oh, and I've got another memory here, 2 more. Another one is Tomb Raider. Well, this game for me, Tomb Raider, the original, I feel like that actually changed my life in a way, because what happened was, back then, this was in 1997, I was living as Kevin. I was still very much in denial and stuff about being transgender, and all the video games back then always used to have to play as male characters. Tomb Raider comes along with Lara Croft. You get to be this explorer on this epic adventure, but you're controlling a female character. So that was the first game that I really connected with the character. And what happened was I got it for Christmas. For about 2 weeks, I did nothing but play that game, to the point where I look back now, it really feels like I went on that adventure. It was quite amazing, that. But the thing is, that game for me was when female characters started to become a big part of video games, really. So I feel like that game was a lot more important than just being an amazing game, because it was also one of the most beautiful, spectacular games at the time, really, because it was the first sort of 3D game. You had Super Mario on the N64, but that was like a cartoony game. This Tomb Raider was realistic, and it was massive, that game. Looking back now, it's not as big as you remember it, but at the time, it was this massive 3D world. I feel like Super Mario was probably more impressive looking back, because it was more, I think that game was probably bigger, and it also had more height to it. Saying that, Tomb Raider had a lot of height to it as well. Yeah, that game was brilliant, that Tomb Raider, that first one. And the last little memory I've got is shopping with my mum for Christmas. So what happened was, this was in 2015, I think. I'd basically come out as being transgender. In 2014 I came out as being transgender. But for the next few years after that, I was still very much sort of, what would you say? I was sort of, I was still very nervous. And I wasn't also confident enough to be myself. But what happened was, at Christmas, me and my mum took me shopping for girls' clothes, for Sophie clothes. So I was Kevin, walking around shops buying girls' clothes and stuff with my mum. It was amazing. That's basically the first time I'd ever gone into a shop looking for girls' clothes. My mum really helped me that day, she did. Yeah, it was amazing. So that's probably one of the best memories as well. I've also got something else I wanted to say about. So on my YouTube channel, I did these little review things of this magazine called Dangerous Inc. Now this is amazing. Dangerous Inc. is this magazine. It's all about it's an alternative arts magazine, all to do with ink, so like inking. But what it is, you've got very strange and crazy artwork, and I looked at all of the issues, and then a couple of weeks ago, the person who created that magazine, so the editor, actually contacted me and said that his name is Tom, he said that he had a load of artwork, like basically proper artwork from the artists that he used for the magazines, and he asked me if I would like them. Some of them are very naughty. You've got like Batman being a bit naughty, but that's what I loved about that magazine. The artwork was so strange and unique, and I said, that'd be amazing. So he actually sent me a load of these, like basically prints and stuff, but they're amazing. So this is like a little Christmas present, and one of them, there's this character called Creepy Cat. I've actually got an original Creepy Cat signed by the artist as well. So this is amazing to me, and this is a thing, they're signed by the artists. I could not believe it. So that was like a little Christmas present thing, really. And I just thought it was brilliant and beautiful. I can't get them back in the thing. I'm going to look after these though. I'm going to cherish them. And I just thought, how amazing is that you're doing all these videos and stuff. And the thing for me is, you're doing these videos reviewing books and stuff, and you don't really imagine that people are going to be looking at them. But I've had actually artists contact me who I've done videos of, saying thank you and stuff. It's amazing. I just find it amazing. So I think what we should do now is a little Christmas sing-song. One of my favourite Christmas songs is actually E17's Stay Another Day. So that's what we're going to do. And, little Dennis and Kitty and everything, they're all going to join in. We're all going to play a little sing-song. So let's have a little... You can sing along as well if you want. So this was going to be a nice little sing-song of E17's Stay Another Day, but there was a copyright claim on YouTube. So what we did was, instead, little Dennis is going to sing us jingle woofs. Come on, little Dennis. Woof 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 woof. Woof 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 woof. I think it's a really nice Christmas song, that. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed that. And all that's left is this week's little inspirational quote. And happy Christmas as well. But this week's inspirational quote is beautiful. It actually comes from an anonymous person. I don't know who said it, but it says, "May you never be too grown up to search the skies on Christmas Eve." So what I would say is go out tonight and have a look at the skies. Yeah, and just think about the universe, really. I've got a feeling 2021 is going to be the best year ever. I've got a feeling something strange is going to happen. Something really strange is going to happen in 2021. So strange that it's going to transform the way we see the world. I think it's going to be amazing. And I think it's going to be to do with the skies. So this week's inspirational quote: "May you never be too grown up to search the skies on Christmas Eve." Anonymous. lilDENNiS is going to have the final say, I think. Ruff!